team, Katie here from Equestrian Movement, and today we're going to be talking about part 2 of why our horses buck. So in part 1 we talked about the rotation of the pelvis, but we can have another issue that leads to our horses bucking because of balance issues. And that is when their frame gets too deep and their shoulders pin under, they can't get their shoulders out of the road and they will potentially buck, or sometimes they just stop altogether to kind of catch themselves when they lose their balance there. So this is our first ride with Phoenix, and he shows us what it looks like when the shoulders pin under because the frame gets too deep. So at the moment he's working hollow, and so you can see where his nose is up and out, but as soon as he comes into a frame, he comes way too deep, and as a result he can't balance himself. He can't keep himself from tripping over his shoulders. So we can do that with our contact when we're asking for a frame. If we're just looking for the elasticity and the suppleness of the top line for the frame without strengthening and conditioning the thoracic sling. So basically what we want to be doing with our horses is like little mini push-ups so that we engage the thoracic sling and bulk their chest. So you'll see a horse that does this well, their chest will get broader and bulk out. So you can see where Phoenix doesn't really have much of his thoracic sling developed because his shoulders are quite narrow. The other part that we're looking at is if you watch this right hind here, he's driving out from behind with it, which means that he can't step his hind legs through properly to get himself up on off the forehand. So you can really see there where his shoulders are pinned right under and his frame is just getting deeper, deeper, deeper. And so that's when we're going to lose balance. The purpose of the contact is not to ask them to go rounder or to go deeper or ride a deeper frame. The purpose of the contact is firstly to shift the balance into the hindquarters to get them into a squat, which is why we want our rein back well established so that when they feel bit pressure, they think sit squat through the hindquarters. And then we're going, and so that's our little squat exercises. And then we're going to do our changes of frame with transitions and poles and grids to engage the thoracic sling. When we're asking them to come up into contact, we're asking them to come up at the base of the wither rather than up at the pole. So we want the shoulders to come up rather than to compress the chest and the shoulders and the pole comes up. So in this video, we're about 3 or 4 months into our equestrian athlete program with our online lesson plans. And we're using the leg yield to get the right hind stepping through a little bit better. You can see that he's working way more uphill. He's up and out through the gullet and to the contact and not coming behind the bit with bit pressure quite so much. He has had some ongoing problems with the left shoulder trapping, which you'll see in a second. But overall, you can see where he's extending out through the shoulder. This is what we call throughness. So if you are, getting, looking at your dressage test, looking at what the heck does throughness mean? Throughness is our final stage of development of self-carriage where our horse has engaged its thoracic sling and started to bulk through the chest and can extend through the shoulder. You can see here where Phoenix's left shoulder is still not strong enough at this point and it still gets a bit sticky and traps. So we have to do a lot of strength training work with our push-ups. This is the thing that quite often goes wrong when developing our working frame. If all we're looking at is roundedness of the neck, we end up making the thoracic sling and the top line too weak in trying to supple it. We've got to be balancing our suppling exercises with our strength building exercises, which is our push-ups and our squats, so that we've got overall, we've got an improved top line condition. And the point of that is to carry us and to, resist the gravitational pull of our weight on their back so that they can lift up through us and not collapse through the chest and the shoulders where we sit trying to hold us. So you can see little moments of weakness as he goes around where the shoulders get a little bit sticky, and that's really normal to see. And so it just means we've got probably about another 6 months of conditioning left to go. So that's it from me for today. Until next time, happy trails.